middle of the table in DBD League, and I'm going to be looking for that altruism here from these Elysium survivors. As we are back into the match now, Pedro on the CENOBITE with the same build, crowd control in play, not revealed quite yet until a fast vault, and that's going to be the box found immediately by Pedro. All survivors revealing their location, triggering the chain hunt, and now the object for Pedro, what is he going to do? Is he going to decide to defend his totems or look for a fast first chase?
Yeah, I'm looking around. I'm trying to see where the totems have spawned. We do find Noah on the shack. Nice little red stain mind game there. And of course, the passive chain hunt is still on and is going to be harassing RV with chains. Great patience on the pallet, but it does eventually get thrown. The rechain happening as well. And there's the first tag onto Noah already, who takes the chase to shack, immediately revealing crowd control. So very, very similar to what happened with Rocket, but Noah immediately throws the pallet. Pedro very happy to break it. Meanwhile, Dog solving the lament configuration, but nobody's on the totems just yet. We're just going for gen progress, and Noah is trying to have a good solo chase towards the main building. Pedro getting really close. We do get the vault and the window here, but guess what? Now it's unusable. Pedro with the vault, and you gotta keep in mind you vault 15% faster on a blocked window by crowd control, and Noah just does not make the distance here, does not even make it to the toilet pallet, and goes down much faster than Dan did.
A great first chase from Pedro there, getting the down onto Noah. And I noticed, Emmy, that one of the totems has spawned in the top of the main building in those bedrooms. So that's going to be difficult to find for Team Elysium, as it looks like they are doubling a generator over by the water tower. The other one has spawned in the gallows area. That's a less out-of-the-way spot for sure, but Pedro now stalking the map, looking for another survivor, and he doesn't necessarily need to play in a specific way to get this win condition. I mean, 5 stages, 2 fresh. There's a lot of ways that he can approach this.
Yeah, this is a very, very campable hook, but I would like to see some aggression, because right now you are at your strongest. You still have all of your totems, you can control the survivors, stop them from cleansing them, but if you're this close to your crowd control, maybe you just want to stay close, stick around. Pedro sending a chain to the edge map, looking for a cheeky unhooker here, as Doc and Zaka are both popping their generators. We see them triple splitting, Pedro working away at another one. 3-gen by the gallows has been broken, but that is not what we're playing for at all. We did, of course, not bring corrupt intervention, and Pedro knows, as well as Zaka did previously, this is not a game about 3-gens. Noah about to hit second stage, and nobody is close for the pull, so really, really strong start for Pedro. We're looking for the totems, but Doc cannot find it. Pedro's gen at 75%, and this is when Invictus's Pedro is going to leave and go on the hunt for survivors.
Yeah, and I mean, getting Noah to second stage here for Pedro is a very good choice, as that's going to make it that much easier for him to get that 5 stages 3 fresh win condition, as now it's going to be Zaka in chase. He doesn't even have a pallet to work with here. Going to take a hit. Every fresh hook matters so much for Pedro here, as if he's able to get that kill on Noah, that would change the win condition immensely. 3rd gen going to pop and misses the swing there onto Zaka. What a fake on the wagon pallet. Chain coming out now, going to land onto Zaka. Totem going to be revealed in this chase, but Zaka downed on the pallet, and it doesn't look like anybody is nearby. Pedro, a little bit suspicious of it. He is checking it out, but nobody there for a save. 2nd fresh hook now for Pedro onto Zaka, and this should be him getting closer and closer to that win condition. Pain Resonance coming out, going to damage one of the generators, but I don't believe that generator had much progress.
It did, in fact, not. It was Pedro HZ's generator. Pedro checking on the totem and barely misses the chain there on the wrong layer of the floor, but it is Noah cleansing it. And if we're going into the 3v1 this early, that is disaster for Elysium. Tag connects through the main building window. Pedro has to do some renovations to catch up, but he is free to choose his target right now. He knows there's not a lot of progress on the map, and he decides to go for Zaka again. And when Pedro was looking around for a savior, you mentioned it, he's looking around, but nobody is here, and that is why Team Elysium's chases have been so much shorter than the ones for the Invictus survivor. The altruism that you were looking for is not there, and it is not here again. Zaka goes down again. This is the 4th stage secured, and it's looking so good for Pedro and Invictus.
Any hook on Doc or Pedro HZ is the win now for Pedro. And like you said, the altruism just hasn't been there for Team Elysium. They were able to cleanse the ruin, but the crowd control still stands very close to Zaka's hook. Pedro HZ and Doc need to have the chase of their lives here if they want a chance to win this CENOBITE set. It's Pedro now over towards this TL wall. He's found scratch marks. If it's Noah here, that is still life for Team Elysium if he goes down, but it's not. It's Pedro HZ. Fresh hook in chase now at the water tower. Going to be chaining it back towards the front side of the pallet. Chain lands there from Pedro. Very nice aim, and it's going to result in an M1. Altruism must come in here from Zaka with the endurance as the unhook comes in, and it's going to be the healthy Doc coming in to take a hit. But this isn't good either, Emmy, because that's a fresh hook as well.
You can just switch the focus onto Doc if he's out of position. Now you have both of them injured, and even if Noah and Zaka or Zaka take the hit here, that would be the tie already. One more generator pops, but Pedro knows that there can't be much more progress on the map, and you're just free to commit this chase onto Pedro HZ, who's doing a great job. Noah is finally coming in for the altruism. RV does go down, but nothing is stopping Pedro from just slugging here. He has his target, he hits the chain, he does not go for the vault. The last generator pops, chain hunt is about to start. Hero chase from Pedro HZ needed here. Pedro connects another chain, and this is going to be the game deciding down onto the Atom. Nobody nearby. Pedro picks up Pedro HZ, puts him on the hook, and gets the win con. 1-0 for Elysium.
Valiant effort there from the survivors of Elysium, but in the end, Pedro played that cleanly, clinically. He knew exactly what he needed to do for the win condition, found the survivors that would satisfy it, and he did not let go of them. So Zaka now in chase, going to get the stun at the main building. Noah with another stun near the main building, as these survivors might just be looking to take their outs as they know the result is already decided. Pedro, got to be feeling good about this one, especially given that this was Elysium's pick.
Yeah, and again, I questioned it. Why do you pick this against Elysium, right? We saw Obi with an incredible Pedro with the nodders as he tags Pedro HZ one more time. We know that Obi is an incredible CENOBITE player as well, right? And still, he was not able to get a lot of stages against Invictus. As you mentioned, the survivor side just so strong. Pedro HZ and Doc still in the trial, but of course the match has already been decided, and these chains by Pedro have just been on point. Doc gets chained up, does not have a window to vault, it goes down, and in the end we're going to see 8 stages and 4 fresh hooks. So Invictus taking the first set away from Elysium. I've gotta say, even though Doc was saying that the Elysium got the sets that they wanted, this is what I've been expecting.
The Coal Tower is such a classic map in competitive that the areas of it that are strong and weak are very well known. If you get chased here, it needs to be at Shack, at a jungle gym, or at the main building. You don't want to be playing fillers in your first chase, as Pedro already at the water tower looking for a first survivor. Standard build of full regression here for him. And he's looking around for survivors in the corrupt intervention area. Finds somebody stealthing at a filler pallet, and he's immediately going to be threatening a hit at this pallet onto Noah. His flashlight coming in there from Zaka, possibly baiting a hit, and it looks like Zaka's actually going to take an M1 for his sins there, but Pedro actually really wants the bound here. Going to get the throw with the Jewel Beetle onto Zaka. Zaka in danger of going down instantly now. Only has a 4-lane window to play. Somebody nearby possibly going for altruism, and yes, that's going to be Noah getting in between Zaka and the killer, taking a first protection hit. There's a very bad situation initially for Team Elysium, but Noah able to stop that from being an early first down. Now bounds onto Doc, and he's going to just slide past that there. Near miss from Pedro, and he's now distance away from those injured survivors.
Pedro is doing it again. He has 2 infections already. 30 seconds into the trial, and that is altruism gone wrong. Getting the throw with the Jewel Beetle there, and Noah has to be there as well to make up for it. Now Zaka on this jungle gym just decides to drop it, but Pedro willing to outplay. We do see the double back. The vault comes through. Zaka can still play the pallet here. Pedro with the double back again. Nice mind game. Can we convert the power? Good check spots by Zaka. Of course, he wants Pedro to break it, but beautiful outplay by Pedro. getting the down onto Zaka. Noah still injured, still infected. Fantastic start for the Invictus killer player.
Would have loved to see the killer POV of that as Pedro making a statement on that dropped jungle gym in the first chase. Zaka going to be hooked up as Noah afraid to spray here, injured at the shack. Going to be getting rid of that full infection as Pedro, I would imagine, going to be looking to put that Pop Goes the Weasel and Eruption on the middle gen. Knows that Noah is down by the shack, so Pedro finding the scratch marks now towards this tile in the middle of the map by the water tower. This is a pallet gym. Pedro sees Noah in the distance, but choosing not to commit. Now finding healthy scratch marks near the same pallet gym, but it doesn't look like Pedro wants to commit to a chase.
Pedro sees Noah on the shack, but does not commit again. I think he could have just zoned him there. Instead, goes back to defend this high progress generator as well as his hook onto Zaka. One topside generator pops, so Pedro knows where everybody is right now. Returns to the hooked Zaka. This generator still regressing, and it's so costly for Team Elysium right now that this hook came in before the first generator popping. Pedro was able to get Pain Res, pop goes the Weasel and Eruption on the generator, and now he can just camp Zaka to the second stage, and if Pedro HC is not careful, he might get thrown edge map. He realizes that and still gets tagged by Pedro. Beautiful use of the power, has the snake tile to play, and we're leaving that as fast as possible. Unhook onto Zaka comes through, and this is the time where you want to tunnel.
Zaka now in Pedro's sights on Death Hook, and I think that might have been a little bit of an early pull from Team Elysium there, even though he went 2 second. Zaka now baiting a head-on perhaps, as Pedro doesn't want to go in front of the locker, and it's actually going to miss there, out. Not in the hitbox, as now Zaka needs to dodge this bound, and Pedro with the miss. Now Pedro HZ on this tractor pallet going to be able to take a hit, and Zaka should make it back around to the main building window once again. Pedro forced to break the door, as Zaka going to be seeing that and holding W towards the middle of the map. Zaka going to need more help here as that infection is ticking up. Now has an eye filler, almost impossible to play for Wesker, as Zaka going to be hindered here very soon, and he's going to miss the swing. Pedro falls for the fake, and another survivor coming in now, but Zaka going to be slammed up against the wall, and that's a tunnel out at 4 generators for Pedro.
And you still have a slug on the floor as well. Pedro, of course, saw Pedro HZ entering the locker there, but if the injured survivor has to play for the tunnel out, you know you are in trouble. Noah is able to complete his generator, taking us down to 3 gens remaining, but this is just way too early. You have everybody injured on the map, and this is the first recorded instance of a short swing connecting on 12 MS. Congratulations to Pedro, who swings through the pallet and somehow downs Noah, even on the lowest of pings. Pedro HZ got reset in the distance, has to spray though, so Pedro knows that he has so much time. Hooks on the only active generator, and it's all falling apart for Team Elysium.
Pedro so far ahead here that he's ignoring the pain res. As 3 stacks still remaining, Pedro HZ needs to get rid of that infection. And I want to talk for a little bit, Emmy, about why Pedro was so happy to camp that hook on Zaka. He was able to get that down so quickly that a doubled generator in the middle of the map was not completed in time. He got the hook on Zaka in view of that generator. So much efficiency bought for him there, and that's why he was able to get the tunnel out. As Noah going to be unhooked here, running down towards the shack. Pedro content to continue tunneling with 3 gens remaining, as he's going to actually go ahead of Noah with the bound, intentionally missing and blocking off that shack pallet. Not going to quite have the distance for the M1 now. Pedro now moonwalking on the shack back towards the backside, and now Noah forced to play the 4 lane. He does have the pallet and the window, but doesn't want to be caught at this 4 lane forever. Now over towards this snake gym, behind the tree, going to be dodging. Pedro's bound there, but he's still forced to play one of these jungle gyms. Goes for the... He hits it over the window, even with the fast vault from Noah. I mean, that was an impressive fast vault, but Pedro still connects.
Noah is getting scammed. What is happening here? All of a sudden, Pedro is connecting every swing. 1 generator pops, but Noah goes back on the hook, and this is going to be the pain res. And one cute play that I want to point out there, Pedro HZ went for the pull, fully infected, and sprayed on top of Noah's hook just before unhooking to deny that information for as long as possible. Very, very good play. And yeah, Noah having a decent chase, but just not enough. Pedro HZ is going to get interrupted yet again. Pop on this generator one more time. And Pedro tries again to get another poker hit onto Pedro HZ. But this Adam is confident. Pedro might go for the tunnel out here. Does he want more freshes? Does he want Pedro HZ? He's trying to swing through it again. Camp trap coming down. Pedro happily breaking. Noah needs to get reset or he needs to disappear from the map. But it seems like Pedro is almost having fun with it right now.
Yeah, and Pedro needs to be careful here. These teams...
Wow.
Oh, what a bound around the side of the pallet. Pedro HC not going to hit anything there, but it will still confirm an M1. As the Jewel Beetle kind of hurting Pedro a little bit there, but that's the chance that you take when you bring that add-on. That would have been an instant down if it connected. Second set of bounds coming out now. Pedro, not enough distance though to get the hit on the window. Tries to skinny Bert it through those boxes. Not going to land though. Pedro HC makes it back around to the window. Now to the tank tread pallet. Going to be throwing that up. And now bounce coming out once again. 50-50 here. And it looks like the slam going to come in onto Pedro HC. Third fresh hook now for Pedro. And now, I mean, Team Elysium, they need to work on getting down to a 4K1 here. That has to be their goal.
Well, they need to make the best out of a horrible situation, right? They somehow need to salvage this, because this is not an acceptable game state for them to be in right now. Doc kind of gets caught out. Are we going to connect? Oh my goodness, Pedro is just feeling himself right now, trying to go for the hack tag there. Unfortunately, does not quite get it. Doc needs to win a couple 50s on this drop filler, but Pedro swings and connects again. We're sending it over to the shack, but we do have the power to follow up. And Pedro does not get the 2-tap. Nice dodge by Doc there. Noah unhooking Pedro HZ off in the distance, but this should be another fresh hook secured onto Doc. And that generator just does not get completed yet again. We're greeting the pain res, saving it for later. Pedro is just so confident in this killer gameplay right now.
Pedro, he has such a good idea of what progress on the map, and that's why he's greeted the pain res twice in a row now. Noah going to be getting the unhook onto Doc. Pedro with 4 fresh hooks now, reapplying that Pop Goes the Weasel and Eruption onto that jungle gym, and he's sitting in such a good spot here, now searching for that survivor. It's going to be Pedro HZ needing to stealth here by the main building. Pedro now over towards... back to the middle of the map now, trying to maybe find Doc as he sprays, or maybe going for a kill onto Noah. There's not really a bad chase now for Pedro, still with 2 gens remaining, but his goal here for Team Invictus is going to be to try to lock up this 4K2.
He finds both Noah and Doc. Doc drops the pallet already. Pedro trying to outplay, unreadies the power here again. We're trying to win 50s. Doc wins 1, wins 2. He loses, wins the 3rd one actually. Still living, vaults the pallet again, vaults back, and he just keeps vaulting. Unfortunately, finally goes down. Eruption hitting Pedro HZ's gen. And now, of course, the pain resonance right here for Pedro to take. And are we going to see a 4K2 again for Pedro? He did it yesterday versus Eclipse. Is he going to do it against Elysium? Noah gets found on the pull.
Pedro turning around to break that pallet, maybe suspicious of Noah going for the pull, and he's going to go for the throw edge map, but it's not going to work. Didn't wait long enough for that animation to finish, so it's going to be a slap instead of a throw. Now, Pedro has to change his game plan if he wants to keep this 4K2 back now towards where Pedro HZ has been working in the main building area. Sees that Adam pre-leaving, knows that he needs to put the Pop Goes the Weasel back down once again, and now I believe if you're Pedro, you go find the reset. Do not let those survivors spray, and try to confirm your 2nd kill.
The scary thing, in my opinion, is I don't even think Pedro needs a 4K2. He just wants it because he's in such a strong position. He knows he has full control over this game right now, and he wants to close it out with a bang, get that mental edge, show Elysium what Invictus has been preparing for. We have 2 generators quite high on the map. Eruption has been applied on both of them. We saw the rotation by Doc, Noah getting the spray, but Pedro needs a down. If we don't get the down fast here, we might see another generator popping, but Pedro HZ on the edge map, he unfortunately cannot last, goes down, the cracker does not help, and Pedro decides to slug. He really wants that 4K2.
that he does not see value in a non-pain res hook onto Pedro HC that doesn't confirm a kill either. Really wants that 4K2. Is the reason why he was able to get that down there is because Pedro actually approached from the middle of the map, cutting off where Pedro HC had been pre-running before. So really smart play there from him, and now he's going to have an injured survivor at a filler pallet here, channeling up the bound, going for it around the side, not making it around the rock though, as Noah will make this pallet. Pedro needs to win one more mind game here to confirm this kill onto Noah, but Noah gets the stun, going to make it away from the pallet into one of these tiles, and now Pedro going to be forced to leave lest he lose both of these generators here as Pedro HC is picked up in the distance.
Huge smash hit value from Noah there. Pedro swinging from the edge map, giving Noah the map. Head-on coming through by Pedro HC, and Pedro wants revenge. Double vault, not falling for that one. Pedro is on top and gets the down onto Pedro HC. This time we hook. We're gonna get our pop goes to Diesel again. Noah trying desperately to somehow pop that gen off in the distance, and he is able to. Generator pops. We're going down to one generator left. We saw Doc in the main building hovering for the pull, still fully infected. Is Pedro aware of his location? Yes, he is. Just spotted out the ace in the corner of his view there. But in this situation, again, Pedro kinda can just cap, right? The hook is on the active generator. Both survivors are injured. They cannot meet up. And Doc is hindered. He does have the balanced landing. Does he make it all the way up? Pedro uses the power again, confirms the down onto Doc. And this is going to be Elysium going into the 2v1.
Yeah, Pedro now confirming this kill onto Doc, and it looks like it is less and less likely that these survivors are going to complete the final generator. Honestly, a good salvage from Team Elysium there, though, with such an early kill onto Zaka. Getting down to a 4K1, I would say that that's a very well played performance there for Team Elysium. Able to make sure that this is a win condition that actually exists for their killer player, as now Pedro HZ on the Snake Gym puts down the chemical trap. Not going to want to break that is Pedro, as he's back around the side, greeting the pallet once again. Not going for the vault there, calls out the mind game, but he should be going down now. Pedro HZ downed near the Snake Gym, and Repressed Alliance goes down on Noah's generator. I don't think it's going to matter though, as Pedro locking up a 4K1 on his killer selection as well. Invictus with all of the momentum going into Zaka's performance here.
Oh my, Pedro is really feeling himself. You could see him having fun with his favorite killer on the cold tower. 4K1, well above average against Elysium here. And if we compare the survivor side from Invictus in Team Eclipse's match, they did really, really well. I don't think they got 4K 2'd, they didn't get 4K 3'd, they got outs instead. Right? Imagine if you've only watched day one, where a lot of people were like, oh my goodness, how does Rocket get caught out there against the Oni, given the win to Team Praxis and Invictus, only losing in the losers bracket, and now look at them. Everybody's so confident. Rocket in contention for MVP. We find our chase onto Pedro, who does not get thrown. Zaka gets a tag here, even after the window vault, but Pedro sends it down the map.
Yep, and it looks like it's going to be Zaka leaving that chase, wants to get survivors off of that mid-gen. That mid-gen is such an important piece here for Zaka that he needs to hold on to if he's going to have any chance of a 4K2. Brutal Strength, replacing the Pop Goes the Weasel. I like that a lot as a Wesker player myself. The Brutal Strength synergizes so well with him, gives him extra chase power on this cold tower that can have so many strong fillers that Wesker just can't play. Now over towards the shack. He's going to be setting eruptions and needs to find a chase here. And it's going to be Pedro once again, the injured survivor. Going to have to give over that shack pallet. Pedro does it with no qualms as Zaka channeling those bounds once again. Pedro now playing a filler in the middle of the map. Gonna hold W away from it. And he's gonna miss the bound there. Making the I filler is Pedro, and that is extremely important against Wesker. No cooldowns just yet for Zaka. And he's actually gonna greet it, going around the side, channeling the bounds now. Two of them up. This is such a hard hit to do. And Zaka converts onto it. And Pedro, what a flick there. I mean, the margin of error there was minuscule.
And we do see the same thing happening that we saw last game. We get the hook on the stacked generator. So Zaka getting the start that he desperately needed to bring it back for Team Elysium in this match. Now, unfortunately, we do not have Pop Goes the Weasel, which would have been really, really nice to apply here. We see in the distance Rocket has a gen ready to go, and Dan starting a new one, but Zaka probably wants to camp this right now. But Invictus knows that, so they're triple splitting. But Zaka knows that, so he knows he kind of can't camp. So I'm very curious to see what's going to happen. Eruption comes down onto this top side generator, but no unhook onto Pedro just yet. Is this just going to be second stage?
For the sake of Zaka, I would hope he gets the second stage here. It would be really interesting if Team Invictus were to send a double save in. But yeah, the Repressed Alliance there doing a lot of work. Would have done more work if Zaka actually had that Pop Goes the Weasel, but the Eruption delayed there. The regression here onto this gen. They need to get this save before second. Invictus knows exactly what they need to do. Clean double save there onto them, and he's going to hit the Endurance Survivor as well. Pedro going to be the tunnel out target here for Zaka. Needs to have the chase of his life, and that early pull is so important there for Team Invictus as they were able to keep most of the progress on that mid-gen.
Dan is here for the hit tank, takes it really, really early. Pedro not able to get a lot of meaningful distance. In fact, is he still stuck on this tile? Seems like Zaka has lost track of him. Just found him again though. Do we make the vault? Yes, we do. Zaka in hot pursuit, but we do have a filler to play for Pedro. Pallet being greeted, so much patience. It does finally come down. Brutal strength value. Ormond tile again for Pedro. Can we dodge the bound? Yes, we can! Pedro having such a good chase for his team here. Another gen popping. Dan Rocket still injured, but as long as this down does not come through right away, it's looking so good for Invictus. They do not have more bodies to throw altruistically, but this chase by Pedro is just so good, and not getting converted there on the armor gym might just be enough. Reset coming through, another generator popping, and Invictus are in a great spot now.
Pedro hindered up now in chase as the third generator does fly by. Finally going to go down there with a little wave, out of resources to use. But Pedro putting his team on his back in that chase. And if Elysium wants to win this, Emmy, they cannot let another generator go. 4K1 is only the tie condition there with the second hook onto Pedro. And just the incredible chase there from Pedro really destroyed that plan of keeping that mid-generator up.
Nightlight nearby for the unhook. We saw Dan on the shack generator, and if that one pops, it means the tie has been achieved. Zaka finds Rocket, who goes for the blind, but this means a free unhook coming through for Nightlight. Zaka returns to the hook. He really wants to get Pedro out of the game, but I think you just need your regression. You need your pain rush because you don't have that Pop Goes the Weasel, right? The gen split is also not holdable. We do not have a 3 gen, and are we overcommitting onto the tunnel out here? We do find Pedro, but I think even if you get the down now, it's a little too late.
Yeah, it's definitely too late to get the win condition here, Emmy, but I think Zaka knows that if he's able to convert on this chase with Pedro, which I think he should be able to get that hit now. Not going for the swing, though, is Zaka. He can still play for 4K1 if he's able to kill Pedro here, and Pedro greets it again! Stun on the wrong side from Pedro. Are you kidding me? As Zaka pulling up the power once again, but these filler pallets are so tough to play as Wesker. Pedro connects it towards the pallet gym, but he's going to get thrown into the wall. Finally, the tunnel out comes through onto Pedro with one generator remaining, and this is what Zaka is playing for now. He knows the win condition is impossible, but he wants to stall it out with the eruption in the 3v1.
But even in the 3v1, he needs a flawless trial right now, and we do 2 generators. We see 2 generators really far away. Rocket healthy, Dan healthy, Nightlight healthy. The legendary eternal 3v1 rule. Go into the 3v1 healthy so that you can have lasting chases. Nightlight holding great distance against Zaka, but Zaka is just kicking generators right now. He needs to play this really slow. He needs to get injuries. He cannot overcommit, but he needs to commit at some point. So his best bet right now is just to get a jeweled beetle throw. And the Invictus survivors, of course, they know it, so they're gonna avoid that at all costs. Zaka still trying to find a Nightlight, who is hovering in between these 2 tiles. But if you look at the HUD, the generators are flying, and that's 2 different generators. Zaka cannot hold this. He needs it down, and he needs it yesterday.
the movement, the communication from Nightlight there, and he finds Rocket in the locker. It's not going to be enough, though. The pain res is not close enough as Dan pops the final generator. Invictus going to go up 2-0 in this series in a very decisive fashion as Pedro continues to perform on the killer. Team Elysium just can't stand up to it right now.
Fantastic read by Zaka there, but unfortunately it is too late and Rocket just able to force the locker. Of course, he would have liked a head-on play there, but hey, you can't have it all. Still, it's enough to get the win condition, and I'm sure he was very much aware of that. Dan playing a couple 50s on this dropped filler already. Gate is open. Invictus have already won, and Elysium with their backs against the wall. Now, we do want to point out again, it's not over if Invictus goes to 3-0, because Elysium is coming from the winner's bracket. They do get one Joker set, which means that Invictus need to make it to 4 wins, while Elysium have to get 3 match wins total. Just as a reminder for you, Dan is going to get hooked. I think Rocket and Nightlight are going to leave the trial, and we're going to move on to the next set, which is the Nightmare.
Yeah, and Team Invictus here just continuing to play clinically on the Survivor side as we expect from them. And I don't think that's going to let up from them, Emmy. It's going to be on Elysium to step it up on the Survivor side, and Zaka to just...
You're forced to switch your target onto the person who's worth less stages because the Fresh Hook made it all the way to safety. It's just so frustrating and can really mess with your mental. Zaka loading in on the Nightmare. We see Sloppy Butcher, Eruption, Pain Resonance, and Corrupt Intervention. We do see a potential first chase, but we're not interested. We want to control the gallows instead of playing the main building.
Yeah, and it looks like Nightlight in Zaka's sights here. We were
seen this
just
before.
talking about him being a quiet presence on the trial, but he's going to be in first chase now. Slept up there by that Dream Snare. Nightlight going to be easily making that front main window. Did already use the balance landing off the gallows. Zaka going to be going for a vault. Flicks there with the snare, but it's not going to connect. Nightlight making the window once again. Fakes the window, but it's not going to be enough as Nightlight, an ill-advised fast vault there, going to be giving over a first hit to Zaka. Now takes the back main window, down the stairs, around the side of the main building, and he's actually going to be looping back around towards the front of the main building. Could this be a head-on perhaps here? As he goes past the lockers, nobody there just yet. It's going to be a body block instead. Pedro able to take that hit for Nightlight, and now Zaka going to be switching targets towards Pedro, forced to break the door there, so effective altruism in from Pedro.
Yeah, really interesting approach there from Zaka. We saw versus Team USA and Nightlight doing the exact same thing, having the balanced landing, always pressuring Gallows aggressively, and Zaka is saying, you know what, I'm not playing your game, I'm gonna chase you down aggressively, I'm gonna commit to main, but now Pedro, of course, are the one in chase. Great dodge on the Dream pallet. We do have beautifully dodging the snare, getting the stun, dropping the pallet, and Pedro yet again with the banger chase for his team. We're far away from the main building. We do have a strong tile to play, good check spots, and is Zaka just leaving this?
Pedro playing with incredible confidence here as the pallet explosion going to just barely miss. Still in Zaka's sights is Pedro, and even though we started this chase with Nightlight, Pedro immediately getting involved with the altruism, and he will be the full first chase once again. Incredible confidence from Pedro so far today as he makes it back around the side of the Ormond tile. Going to be greeting it a little bit though and going down here, but not before 2 generators pop, Emmy, and this is yet another strong start for Team Invictus.
Yeah. The altruism is just so on point, right? Pedro is always there when he is needed. He is the head-on player as well, so the original intent was probably to set up for the head-on. Nightlight made the call, the snare hit me, you need to tank me, and Pedro is there immediately. Super beautiful display of the best we've seen from Invictus so far. Zaka does get a hook, does not get the pain resonance, and he's just setting up around this area, breaking a couple of pallets. Pedro is hooked on a pain res hook as far as I saw. No, but there are ample pain res opportunities in the area. Zaka just continuing the renovations, but of course Team Invictus have reset. They're rotating to get back onto the generators, and this is not a horrible start for Zaka, all things considered. The Nightmare set does tend to get a little bit grindy. Of course, on the LAN it's been way less of that, just because there have been fewer downs. Zaka happy to get a pretty free tag onto Dan and to return to his hook. Nobody here for the pull just yet, which lets us know that we're prioritizing gens right now. But this is still a great win for Zaka.
Yep, Zaka looking like he's content to camp Pedro towards second stage here, but Invictus not wanting to get over that second stage. Rocket with a great unhook there onto Pedro. Maybe Zaka thinking that that unhook wasn't going to come in, and he's going to actually take the trade here, Emmy. I think that might be the game plan thrown off a little bit for him there. He didn't even use the pain resonance on Pedro before, so still 4 stacks of that remaining as the third generator pops. And that one that got hit can't have that much progress, Emmy, as I do wonder why Pedro was not used on pain resonance.
Yeah, perfect timing there. Zaka looks the other way and Rocket is able to sneak in and get the unhook trade. No body block possible. Nightlight, of course, has just woken up, which means he's immune to all of Freddy's shenanigans, and Zaka is forced to leave this chase on main building. Now we're in the awkward position. Are we going to try and tunnel? Because tunneling has just been so impossible against the Invictus squad. Zaka does find Pedro on the water tower here. Actually, it's Rocket who drops the pallet and makes it back to the vault. Green pallet already down here, and Rocket just playing for his life.
Yep, Rocket here, he still has this pallet to play. Rocket gonna make that fast vault there on the window. Dream pallet did not connect, and he still has the upright pallet in this tile. Rocket gonna be dodging that hindered there. No, hindered up now, and he's got 2 dream pallets here, and yeah, Rocket out of resources, going to be going down. 2 hook stages on him now with 2 generators remaining. No pain resonance on Rocket, but Team Invictus playing slow, content to be waking themselves up here with the clocks. It looks like they've got about 50% progress on a generator with Pedro, and this is where things start to get rough for Team Invictus. They need to pull something out of their hat here to stop Rocket from getting tunneled out, as the teleport is going to come in onto that main building generator. Possibly a kick being put down by Zaka, as the teleport not ready here, as Rocket is unhooked in the distance. Gonna give him some distance now as he's found around the corner. And this tunnel out, this is the most important part here for Zaka, the critical moment. As people at home always say, comp DBD, all it is tunneling. They tunnel every time, but not against a team like this. I say that, but Rocket, he somehow gets mind gamed by the Freddy teleport. Zaka, what an incredible play, confirming a tunnel out way faster than you would have thought.
Just in time for Zaka. Does he have the teleport back to interrupt the main building where Nightlight has been working away at the generator? Tunnel out, yes, but we saw the main gen being very, very high, so I wouldn't be too surprised if we're nearing an end game here. Pedro's generator pops in Zaka's face, and that means that the main generator is second to pop. Pedro goes down. We're in the end game. Dan still injured, Nightlight healthy. We're going on to the hook if we're Pedro, and Dan just opening the gate aggressively. Of course, he is injured right now and is up to Nightlight to make something happen. Rotating for the unhook onto his teammate, the fresh hook survivor. As always, what is Dan doing? In the main building, Zaka nearby, opening up the downstairs breakable wall, trying to mind game main building. Goes down the stairs. Does Dan fall for it? Bit of a mind game on the main building here. Dan, do you have the check spots? Are you aware? Yes, you are. Beautiful patience by Dan. The unhook onto Pedro comes through. Now we need to open the gate. We need to get the body block in position. And of course, who is here? I think it's Pedro. Yep, ready to die for his teammate, and Nightlight on the exit gate already.
Yep, Pedro put to sleep there. He's going to be going for the body block onto Dan. Door opened in the distance, but that's the one over on the other side of the map. Potential teleport fate coming in here. Dan now in trouble at the main building. He's going in front of a locker there. Zaka expecting a head-on. What does he even do here as he's trying to make Pedro pull the trigger? Is there nobody in there? Are you kidding me? Is Dan faking a locker? Or, okay, he's trying to keep him at this fence. Keep him in the map as that door on the other side of the main building isn't quite opened yet. Maybe playing for the end game timer here, as Pedro not going to be able to reset very easily. as he is still asleep. Nightlight going to be going into the sleep timer once again. Now they need to find some sort of creative way to get Dan out of here.
Do they want to have Nightlight open the gate and then Pedro is here for the head-on? Because he is here! Gets grabbed out of the locker. Where is Nightlight? Where is Dan going? Is the exit gate open? Oh my god, they're just too smart! Zaka realizes, and it's disaster. It's 6 stages too fresh. It's not disaster. 6 stages too fresh under these conditions. Very good result. But Zaka would have loved to get Dan there. And the creativity from Team Invictus, the patience on the head-on. Zaka thinks they're locked in here with him, but no. Team Invictus locked in there with them. Beautiful play.
Beautiful play again from Team.
Are in the trial. We're seeing Save the Best for Last. We're seeing Sloppy Butcher combined with Pain Resonance, Corrupt Intervention. And we're also seeing a killer that's not moving again.
Yep, and Pedro now beginning to move here on the Dead Sands. He's got the Save the Best for Last and the Sloppy Butcher, missing that Rapid Brutality. We talked about that on day 1. Do you really want your Bloodlust to be gone on this LAN environment? And Pedro going to answer no here, channeling that Static Blast. He's coming in, hitting 2 survivors with that electricity. He's rested from Nightlight's killer performance before, and now immediately into first chase with Zaka on this Jake. Zaka needs to have a strong first chase here. He's going to continue to play this L palette here. This is just a filler. He needs to find a way to connect this into something else. As Zaka making it back around the palette once again. Pedro faking the shock. This could be an M1, but no, Pedro knows better than that. Zaka playing around this geometry so well, but he's going to take a hit and go towards Shack. 1 stack of Save the Best for Last gained, and this is where the altruism needs to come in for Team Elysium.
Yeah, Shack palette out of the way, so the biggest potential for straight up altruism already dropped by Zaka, so extending the chase on his own. We see triple splitting from the survivor side. Zaka pathing towards the Corrupt Intervention, exactly what you need. And if this chase can last longer, that is exactly what Elysium need. Palette already pre-dropped, but this... Oh, Zaka with the pre-vault winning the 50 there, but can he make it around one more time? No, he cannot. Pedro connects the swing, and we needed the altruism. You're just so right, Brian.
Yeah, and I mean, we did need the altruism there, but it's still a decent situation for Team Elysium with the triple split, right? It's not like they doubled out a gen and then lost all of their potential progress there. And Pain Resonance does hit one of the generators, but all it did is equal out the progress between them. They've still got 3 generators with very high progress. Pedro extending a bit away from the hook to put a dry kick on Doc's gen. And I think Team Elysium here is going to be content to try to complete these 3 generators before Zaka even needs to be unhooked.
Gets great information from the Static Blast there. Just shocking a survivor into tier 3 so that he can no longer work the generator. Very smart using the built-in slowdown that the Doctor has available. But Noah, good placement or good movement there, dodging the shocks. Rotating for the pulsar right now, not on a generator. Wasting a bit of time here. We're going to see 3 generators completed, as he called it. I would love for Pedro to look back at the hook, see if this is body blockable, tries to get a bit more madness onto Doc, realize the generator is so high. Noah back on the gen. This means we're going to stage 2.
Very interesting choice there for Team Elysium. I don't know if I like this play. It's very risky from them, as what's gone wrong in the previous Doctor sets is when somebody goes to second stage and then potentially dies at a high amount of generators. So Pedro HZ and Noah immediately starting new gens. Noah now in chase at this double pallet, able to get the drop there on the first pallet, and looks like Doc and Pedro HZ still working on generators. Zaka sitting on the hook in second stage, and I mean, with first chase into letting him go second, all of the pressure is being put on Zaka here. Elysium is putting the full burden on Zaka.
Oh, they're stacking the generator here. Pedro, does he think he needs to commit? Noah can make the rotation to unhook Zaka anytime now. He chooses to stay on the generator though, so we're sending Pedro HZ for the pull instead. I would have liked for Doc to be the person who pulls, because he's the obsession of course, and he is in tier 3. He can't really do anything else right now. Second interrupt there, M1 as well. Do we get the trade here? What is happening? Pedro HZ does not get it. I don't know. I think he cancelled the unhook ones.
No, the residual effect of the shock therapy was still on him after the Save the Best for Last cooldown came through, and Pedro HZ I'm not sure what happened there. I mean, I think you're right. The shock therapy disappears when you get hit. As Zaka is going to die on hook at 2 gens remaining, and it remains to be said, they needed to send 2 people for that.
Whatever happened here, it is a disaster for Team Elysium. Noah now in chase with Pedro, who has 4 stacks of Save the Best for Last. We get a free hook onto Pedro HZ as well. Good pathing coming through by Noah, but can it be enough? The shock finally lands. We get another tag, and with 5 stacks of Save the Best for Last to kick onto the generator, this map is Pedro's to play. Can return to the hook, play for the tunnel out onto Pedro HZ. He wants to get a 4K yet again, and this mishap at the hook is exactly what he needed to make it happen. Pedro is just putting up such crazy killer results here on the low ping, on the LAN, on every opponent's own pick.
Yeah, and now Pedro, he's in his generator setup here. He got the info from the static blast onto both Noah and Doc, resetting out of the gens, and now he knows he can take this chase on Pedro HZ. Stuck at a filler pallet here. Aura on him there from Eyes of Belmont and Inner Focus, working in tandem to increase the aura reading. Pedro HZ,
wow.
What a read there on the killer, able to make a ton of distance away, and here comes Altruism from Doc. Team Elysium not out of this just yet, and it looks like Pedro has left in favor of chasing Noah, possibly thinking that he needs to get fresh hooks here, as even though Zaka died so quickly on hook, there was still so much gen efficiency from Team Elysium.
This is the dreaded double pallet, and somehow Pedro just hits those. How does that connect on 12 MS? This is going to be another pain res, another stack of Save the Best for Last, and this is not what Noah expected to happen at all. Usually the double pallet set up so hard for the Doctor to outplay, but Pedro somehow makes it happen. Incredible! Stops the generator from completion yet again, and I don't know what Elysium can do. They did have a lot of proc on the map, but with these unfortunate mishaps on the survivor side happening again and again, just as things are looking up, just as Pedro HZ has an incredible send with the Eyes of Belmont, it's just so unfortunate for them.
Pedro HZ now forced to snap out of it in the corner of the map. Noah going to be unhooked by Doc, and now, I mean, Pedro, he's in a little bit of a dangerous position. He's got 2 generators that he knows have significant progress. They're a little bit far away from each other. He needs to potentially find this last pain res onto Doc. Is he willing to give up those Save the Best for Last stacks in exchange for the gen regression? Doc wins that mind game on the first pallet, able to vault again, but he should be giving over a hit here, as that's going to be -2 stacks, but this double pallet eventually needs to be kicked, as Pedro, he's forced to leave, doesn't want to take the kick on the double pallet, as Noah 75% on the generator, as Pedro walks back into the map looking for info with this static blast. What he finds here is going to be critical. 2 injured survivors, Emmy.
And I feel like every other killer player at the LAN would have just committed Doc there, the fresh hook, be happy with the result. But Pedro is hungry for blood. He wants the 4K against Elysium. He wants to bring it home for Team Invictus. And he has Pedro HZ in his eyes. Still has this pallet, but I don't think he makes it. Noah has the generator at 95% now. I think it's going to pop. But in the end game, with everybody injured, Pedro can still make something happen. Leaves towards the generator. It's going to pop in his face. Doc is not in tier 3, which means he can pick up Pedro HZ. Noah, same amount of stages as Pedro HZ right now. So we need this down fast to 4K.
Noah must survive here at this jungle gym. He's going to lose the mind game there. Pedro with the down once again. 6 stacks of Save the Best for Last now, and it looks like he is going to take the pickup onto Noah, confirming yet another stage. Missed out on that fresh hook with Doc, but it looks like survivors are pathing away from the doors here potentially. Emmy, what is Team Elysium planning here in the endgame?
We do see, I think, at least 1 light on that exit gate, but it is not enough. And if you're Pedro, of course, you want to find Doc right now, but that means that you are letting Pedro HZ open the gate for free.
And Pedro HZ able to finish the gen as Doc gets found going for the unhook on the rotation. This is devastating for Team Elysium, as Pedro just needs to win 1 mind game on this half-broken double pallet. Back and forth here on the map terrain, gets hit with the shock therapy, and Doc won't be lasting much longer as the down comes in onto the 4th fresh hook for Pedro. He's confirming as many stages as he can here for Team Invictus. Pain resonance not going to matter, and it looks like Pedro wants basement here.
Pedro is playing out of his mind at the LAN. Noah is also one static blast away from being put into tier 3, which means that it's going to be so impossible for the survivors to reset. We see Pedro HZ snapping out. We see the last couple seconds of Sloppy Butcher still in play. Can this reset happen? Because we need to pull Doc. Otherwise, this is just way too many stages for a Doctor set.
It really is way too many stages for a Doctor set, and they're going to leave. I mean, 9 stages for Fresh for Pedro, picking up right where he left off before he passed the torch to Nightlight. Pedro continuing to dominate in the LAN.
He's just so good. Like, what can you do? He somehow outplays the double pallet. Really good decision. And Zaka bringing rapid brutality, no save at all, so doesn't care who he's chasing. Ruin, Sloppy Butcher, don't look at the HUD. Rocket already found the Ruin. Zaka gets the shock. I like that we're not bringing Corrupt Intervention because we want pressure early, and we're pre-dropping early as well. The comp drop from Team Invictus' Survivor side, and Rocket first chase.
Yep, first chase for Rocket at this double pallet here. It's a relatively strong area, but the shock therapy does give him the potential to get a hit. Zaka forced to break that first pallet as Rocket playing it very safely. Now back around the side of the rock. Forced to play the short side now of this half double pallet. In danger of giving a hit is Rocket as Zaka back around the side once again. Gets hit by that shock therapy. A little bit of a mind game from Zaka, and this should result in a hit. Great movement from Zaka so far. He doesn't have that save the best for last, so it doesn't matter that Rocket's the obsession.
Yeah, we're making it to the shack. We're going to need some altruism here. Rocket with the pathing, going a window side, of course, not vaulting, not dropping. Is somebody here to drop the pallet for the teammate? Yes, but Pedro gets caught by the shock therapy himself. Drops the shack for his teammate still, but still extends the chase. Of course, does not get the stun, so not the perfect play here, but again, extending the chase so important. Rocket now on the double pallet gym, drops the first one, holds the check spot, and this is so awkward to play, because if you have the distance to drop one of the two pallets, it becomes so hard for the Doctor to play. Second drop comes through as well, and Rocket is buying so much time here for his team, not panic vaulting either, and just holding distance, forcing Zaka to break.
Yeah, forcing Zaka to break here is so important for Rocket as the first gen pops in the distance. Rocket using this geometry. It's not even a pallet so far. He's able to path back into the pallet as well, and he's out of line of sight, going back towards the non-pallet area. Baits a swing even. Rocket, are you kidding me here in this first chase? Misses the shock therapy once again, but Rocket finally going to be going down here on the edge map, and Team Invictus looking like they want to put the nails in the coffin here for Elysium.
Dan has so much progress on his generator, and Zaka does not expect it. He does not expect this much progress to be on the map and chooses to not go for the pain resonance. Maybe saving it for later, trying to get it to the 3v1, but that is a little bit questionable for me here. You can never underestimate the gen progress that Team Invictus are putting on the table, and that pain resonance would have gotten full value. Zaka now wants to hopefully have the same thing happen that Invictus had to happen, where, you know, unfortunately we mess up the pull and Rocket somehow dies on the hook. But I don't think it's gonna happen, and Nightlight is just working a gen off in the distance. Pedro's location is still unknown, so I'm assuming he's also on a generator. Zaka does not really have the time to camp here. He tries to put Dan into tier 3, does not quite have the time to commit to enough shocks. We see the scratch marks nearby, a survivor rotating for the pull, and time is running out for Zaka.
Yep, Zaka looking like he wants to camp Rocket to death here. Possibly just the second stage though, but it's dangerous here. He doesn't have good information on how progressed the gens are in this situation. We were just talking about before, Team Invictus always seems to have one more gen than you think, as he sees Nightlight healthy over here with a gen 50%. Rocket goes to second stage. Team Invictus knows they have so much time to play with here. They actually pull him right after the second stage. I'm not really so sure about that play.
They want to keep the pressure high, they want to keep Zaka away from the generators, and they want him to commit to this chase. We do have Dan, who is healthy, playing for the tunnel out here. Rapid brutality in play, giving us 5% of haste. And Invictus are making the call that this should be enough to pop the last 2 generators. And we haven't seen Pedro in so long, so we know that he's working a generator. Dan playing altruistically, taking the down here. Zaka will want to commit. Remember, he still has the Pain Resonance onto Rocket if he can get this down. But Rocket with some unique pathing sends it all the way back to the ornament tile. So much distance onto Zaka, and he's too afraid of the last generator popping. Great call, because we saw Nightlight and Pedro stacking Nightlight in tier 3 now, but Pedro could still pop it. He's here for the tunnel out or the pickup as well, and Nightlight needs to snap out. Great macro play by Zaka, somehow keeping track of every survivor.
This could be your final chase, Zaka, as Nightlight snapping out of tier 3 near the 90% generator in that little dip in the ground. Rocket back around the side of the ornament tile here. Any second now, the final generator will be done. Invictus, what is this efficiency? The final generator is done. Pedro picked up, but Zaka needs so much to get to this 10-stage win condition. Invictus just needs to get themselves over the finish line, opening one of these doors, get any amount of survivors out the door here with stages on them, and they will be the winners of this LAN. Now Rocket in chase at this cross tile once again. Rocket has been so incredible this game.
He's just using the map structures to his advantage. Has this pallet, doesn't drop it, good pathing. Can Zaka get the down yet? Even if he can, is it going to be enough? Because we know the exit gate is open, and Rocket is the least stages. He does go down, and it doesn't matter. Invictus are out of the door, and Invictus are your DBD League LAN Grand Champions.
What a team. Team Invictus in a dominating fashion, taking it 4-0 over Team Elysium. Just incredible play from them all day. Rocket taking it home on the Survivor as well.
Again, congratulations to everybody. I want to spend a little bit of time talking to our players here. So Nightlight, by the way, like I as we're doing this, I'm like, I feel like we're shafting Nightlight, because it's not like, I definitely was like, dude is on fire. You had some amazing chases, some great teamwork. I personally like today's Plague game, where you were walking just long enough to tank the hit without getting infected, and then also not getting one-tapped right after that because you got spit on. So there was definitely some incredible plays there. Is there anything that stands out to you in the entire tournament where, I don't know, it was a key moment, or you thought you guys really locked in, or you were maybe worried you weren't going to take it and then, you know, fall through?
The only set versus Praxis at the first match was definitely like one where I thought that we are going to have it 100% because of the end game, like Obi pop power in a pretty like risky way, but then he found Rocket somehow on the edge map, so that definitely was the one impactful thing from the tournament that I remember the most.
It was interesting. We were talking at the break. We were talking about that 5-gen. I'm talking about Plague again, but it was Plague, right? Yeah. We're talking about that 5-gen, and it's really interesting. We were talking about how it almost works against you because the survivors know exactly where to die. So, like, you guys saw that. I'm saying this, but I'm like, I just want you to confirm. Like, you're like, that's cool. We like that. We appreciate it. Let's go break a 5-gen, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely easier for you to like play with a 5-gen because you can just die on the side where the 2-gen spawn. So you just know where to die the whole time. Plague also cannot one-shot you unless you are fully infected, so it is pretty simple to just go to the other side and just always die there. So we had a pretty difficult time there, 100%.
Is there anything else that stands out to you? First time, this isn't your first ever LAN, correct?
It is.
This is your first ever LAN. I don't know who has done what. Any specific highlight, the #1 point?
I mean, it was very fun meeting my team for the first time, and I think we played very well in the loser bracket especially, and yeah, we showed why we are a #1 team.
Fantastic. That's amazing. Thank you very much, Nightlight. Moving along to, again, just a heavy lifter, not just great Survivor games, of course, but the killer of the day. Looking back at the entire tournament, what would you say is your favorite moment, or your maybe the sort of best play you made on Killer, Pedro? Sorry to put you on the spot.
It's hard to think about. I'm not trying to be egotistical. I feel like I played very well throughout most of the tournament. Probably CENOBITE, the 4K one against Praxis. I don't usually perform the best on that killer, and so I was pretty proud of the result I got and for beating the win con. Yeah, I'd say that's the one.
You actually, that's a really good...
Also, the mastermind flick he did on Jungle Gym onto it was actually game-winning stuff.
Pedro's too humble. We have to hear it from the teammates. So I lost my train of thought. No, I literally lost my train of thought. That's a great answer, though. Oh, I got it now. I remember where I was going with that. Sorry. You did wind up taking several sets, like where it was the other team's pick. That's gotta feel pretty good knowing that they pick Blade against you and then you crush them, kind of thing, right?
Yeah, not only once, twice. We ended up losing the first matchup, but yeah, we won both flight sets. Felt pretty good. So yeah, after that match, we won every other set. We didn't drop a set. We just tied against X9 one of the sets. So yeah, it definitely feels pretty good.
Amazing. Same question. Anything that stands out from the entire event that really is like the MVP for you? Like not MVP, but like the best moment kind of thing.
I think honestly, just meeting my team, the rest of the players, everyone else, the viewers. It's really just the whole experience. Really fun.
I think everybody in this room agrees with that. I think it's very clear. Thank you very much and congratulations, Pedro. And then Dan the man, again, it's the intangibles that we don't see. You see all these great teamwork plays, and you don't know that it's like the call-outs, the great call-outs. Obviously, it helps having teammates who are so, they're already ready to do what's going in. But are there any particular times when you felt like the comms were really clean, or that you made a really, really strong call that led to maybe averted disaster when things were maybe not going great, or something along those lines?
I just think throughout the whole LAN, my team felt very synergized. I don't know how, because we didn't really practice much before this. But I don't know, I feel like playing together all like in the same place made us play, I don't know, stronger. We had really good synergy throughout the games. Also, having low ping helped a lot, but I mean, you know what I mean? Like everyone together, everyone like happy and stuff, and winning, but except the first time, But it's okay. I mean, I'm just very proud of the whole team, like how we perform together. And like, it's not only me doing the calls. I incentivize them a lot to think for themselves and like ask questions and like do stuff as well, Because I cannot see the whole game through the 4 monitors. Here I could, but usually I cannot. Yeah. And so basically, yeah, I'm just really proud of the boys, how they played. It was very good, very fun to play with.
I mean, that's like a leader right there. It's like, what was your best moment? It's like, my team was my best moment. Absolutely agree with that. What about you? Any highlight from the weekend? And you can keep saying meeting everybody, because I think that it can't be said enough, but is there anything else that particularly stands out for you from the LAN?
Playing on 12 MS was an experience, bro. I'm going to move to Germany. What is this, bro? This is fucking cheating, bro. This is cheating. I'm not joking.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
I mean, also meeting everyone was insane. Like, a shout out to Americans as well, bro. These guys are actually cool as fuck. I didn't talk with them much, but they're actually very cool people. Yeah. And yeah, everyone is very fun and very cool. I didn't expect this, but I don't think there's any person that I don't really like. I think everyone's cool.
What's your home ping?
My home ping is like 70, bro.
Yeah, me too. It's brutal. It's absolutely brutal.
Thing. Speeds, whatever happened on 3 doesn't happen. What matters is like, this is here, okay? This is here. Also, Anna, you see, I told you, I'm winning this, bro.
Let's hear that. That's amazing. Well, thank you, Dan. Fantastic job, both of you and the team. And then, I should probably cross over here. I'm going to cross over here. And then we got Rocket. Rocket, phenomenal plays. I still laugh at the fact I'm like, did you get caught out? No, I was baiting the dead hard. I got this, no worries. 12 MS, let's go. There were some really notable plays. You hit a dead hard today that I didn't even notice because it was around a rock, and I'm like, he's in deep wounds. Oh, he pressed E. What the heck? Were there any moments like that maybe stand out that I haven't mentioned?
Okay, I mean, probably the chase on Doctor. I mean, honestly, I think I did really good. I tried 3 chase. I even said Pedro HZ, if they pick Doctor after it was Doctor on the game, I would be doing 3 chase, so I actually delivered. I mean, I'm just very confident on Doctor. This is my favorite killer, so yeah, probably that.
Fantastic, absolutely. It's a good one. Yeah, no. So I mean, just really solid throughout. And again, I got to ask, I mean, I interviewed you like yesterday, and you kind of mentioned how like I was marveling at how wholesome Rocket was, because it was just like, every team is great. I love you all. You're fantastic. I got to imagine it's the meeting everybody. Is there anything else that stands out, or any particular meet or moment that really you're going to take with you on the road?
Probably taking photos with fans. I mean, it's probably one of my favorite things. Just to see, their faces, I don't usually see them. I only see them on Twitch chats, or you know. So just asking them what's their name, and then say, "Oh, you were that person." It's really cool. I mean, that's probably my favorite thing, and just meeting everyone that you know played. I mean, I respect everyone generally for the you know actually putting up work and stuff. I respect that. I respect that generally.
Absolutely fantastic. Well, again, everybody, let's give it up for your champions, Team Invictus.